Hello YouTube, my name is Nero. Today we have some more Call of Duty World War II. Welcome back to the beta, ladies and gentlemen. Just a couple of days ago, I asked you guys on Twitter to send in a bunch of different topics for Call of Duty World War II because at this point, man, I had discussed everything about this game, from leaks to rumors to speculation to actual concrete facts and news. We discussed pretty much everything as we anticipate the launch of Call of Duty World War II. But on Twitter, you guys sent in a bunch of very interesting topics and questions that I really haven't discussed a whole lot here in the channel. So I figured I would go ahead and address all of those here in one video, but it's going to be a longer one. Be warned, it's going to be a longer video because we have a ton of different topics to discuss here, and as a result, chances are we're going to be reusing some gameplay because I don't have that much Call of Duty World War II beta footage left. At this point, I'm pretty much running on fumes. I do not have that much footage left to share with you guys, so apologies if there are some repeat clips in here. And also, don't expect this video to have a ton of editing because, again, it's probably going to be a much longer video. It's more about the discussion as compared to like what's actually happening on the screen. So if that sounds interesting to you guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy as we go over the great Call of Duty World War II Q&A session. Let's begin. The first topic is going to be sent in from Ashbit Gaming, who says, Call of Duty World War II has been on the top sellers for Steam for the past week, so do you think this could finally revive the PC scene at least a little bit? So Ash, I think it actually could. I think Call of Duty World War II might actually be the year where PC Call of Duty becomes somewhat relevant again, because right now it is incredibly bad. So here is a wonderful chart that was actually posted by Dragon, who runs the Call of Duty View website. I'll put links to his Twitter as well as his website down there in the description. And from here, you guys can see that even across all different games, on average, there are 17,000 to 20,000 max players on Call of Duty on PC at any given day, and the most players on one game at one time over the course of the past couple of weeks is 6,136. Like, you hear people saying all the time that COD on PC is dead, like nobody plays COD on PC. No, it's literally true. If you take every single Call of Duty game on PC and add up their maximum players on one given day, which keep in mind there's definitely some overlap there, the maximum players you'll have on Call of Duty on PC on a given day, even weekends, is like 20,000 people. It's very, very tiny. So I do hope this is the year that Call of Duty on PC becomes relevant. Over the course of the past couple of years, I've become more and more of a PC gamer. It's at the point now where I only turn on my consoles to play Call of Duty and play Madden. And the reason why I play Madden on console is because it doesn't even come out for PC, right? And I play COD on console because there's actually a community and a player base there. Whereas on PC, that's just not true. Like, the most players on PC over the past 2 weeks on one game was 6,000. Like, it's very tiny, right? So hopefully this is going to be the year they actually turn things around. Sledgehammer Games did make a new community post today, for those that don't know, where they basically go over all the things they learned from the PC beta going into the full version of the game. They did make an announcement saying that they are going to be releasing their full suite of anti-hack and anti-cheat software, and they will be banning people starting on day one. And they also go over a bunch of different optimizations and changes they made to the PC platform following the open beta, though it's all just technical mumbo-jumbo, essentially. Like, they're changing around the FOV sliders and adding some scroll options and stuff like that, right? So if you guys want to check it out, I'll put a link to it down there in the video description. This could be the year where COD on PC becomes relevant, but I think realistically, what's going to happen is more people are going to play COD on PC this year than normal, and that may begin the healing. It's going to take a pretty good effort from Treyarch the year after this and Infinity Ward the year after that to slowly but surely rebuild the Call of Duty player base on PC. It's not going to be something that happens overnight. It's not going to be something that happens with one particular game. They are going to have to prove to the PC community that they actually care about them with good, solid game releases year after year after year. But of course, it starts this year with Call of Duty World War II. The next topic is going to be coming in from Stark. Do you think the war game mode will be enough to reteach the community how to work together and win again? I certainly hope so. War is a very interesting game mode. It's basically being solely developed by Raven Software, who's also the team that handled the PC port of Call of Duty World War II. I enjoyed my time playing War during the beta, and I played it on all platforms. It was interesting, but the thing is, we had that one map, and the one map got pretty boring over time. In the full version of the game, we are going to have several different war maps to actually play on, and we're going to be getting more war maps via DLC once the DLC season comes around, so it could actually be an awesome year for War. It's going to be this entire extra extra thing to do within Call of Duty World War II. My big concern with it is I'm worried that the community may ruin the game mode, and here is why. During the beta, I noticed a lot of snipers that played War because it was a fantastic place to go if you wanted to hit clips, right? Because you always had the enemy team funneling out of one area or another. Therefore, it was pretty easy to get clips either with some machine guns or snipers or what have you. And as a result, I'm worried that may actually just take over the entire game mode. Rather than trying to build the bridge or trying to escort the tank and stuff like that, we're going to have everybody running to each other's spawns trying to get clips for their montages and stuff like that. I don't know. I have a feeling montage-wise, they're going to be turning the War game mode into Drop Zone. Remember Drop Zone back in the day? That was like the easy place to go to get clips and stuff like that for your videos and your montages. I worry that War may be that this year, but I'm interested, man. War looks so freaking good. Like, the idea behind it, now we're going to have regular multiplayer, then we're going to have War, where you don't have to worry about your KD or your win-loss or your stats or your score per minute or anything like that. You just set up the best class you can and you try to get stuff done. I love that idea for a game mode, so hopefully it works out well this year. I have a lot of faith in Sledgehammer and Raven Software when it comes to the War game mode, just based off what we saw during the beta. Will it be enough to reteach the community how to work together and win again? I'm hoping that is the mindset that the community adapts for this game mode, but I'm also pretty worried that the mindset everybody's going to have is, oh, War, that's that game mode we go to get our montage clips. So we're going to have to see how it plays out. The next topic is going to be coming in from Nick. Do you think the Pacific stories will be in later DLC, or will this just be themed around the locations we've seen featured? So, Nick, I don't think we're going to see any Pacific stories in DLC. Call of Duty has never actually done a single-player or a story-based DLC outside of zombies. That'll definitely be interesting. I think a lot of people would actually like to see that for the Call of Duty franchise. And you know Activision, they are always trying to find more ways to make money. So maybe story-based DLC might actually be in the cards for Call of Duty going forward. But I don't see that necessarily for Call of Duty World War II. And when it comes to the Pacific Theater in the game in general, I was doing some thinking last night. Why is it the only gun in the entire game of Japanese influence is the Type 100? Right? They've said that the multiplayer is going to be multi-front, like they're going to have the European theater and the Pacific theater, maybe some other stuff in there as well, but the only thing from the Pacific theater in the entire game, based off of leaks and what we saw during the beta, is the Type 100 submachine gun. Why even add it if that's going to be the only Japanese weapon in the entire game, right? Why not just add the British Sten, which, in terms of a profile, look very similar, right? Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So I'm wondering what they plan on doing in terms of Pacific Theater content within the game. I have no doubt that they're actually going to be adding a Pacific Theater map as DLC, but from what we've seen so far, it doesn't appear it's going to be in the base game, and the only Japanese weapon by default is going to be the Type 100. This also leads me to believe that maybe weapons like the Arasaka are going to be added to the game via supply drops in the future. We're going to have to see how it plays out, but right now there's really not a whole lot of discussion surrounding the Pacific Theater. The game itself is going to be heavily focused on the European theater and specifically Americans versus Germans. So we're going to have to see how it plays out. I like your idea of a story-based DLC, and maybe one day we are going to see that in the future of the Call of Duty franchise. The next topic is going to be coming in from Michael. How do you feel about having day and night cycles in each map? Should World War II implement that? Do you think it would affect the gameplay? I feel like this is a bit of a leading question because I have made half a dozen videos over the years campaigning for the Call of Duty franchise to add day-night cycles and weather systems to the Call of Duty multiplayer. In short, without rehashing all of those videos, yes, I do feel as though they should have day and night cycles in Call of Duty World War II. I do think they would actually affect gameplay a little bit, but I think it would affect gameplay in a positive way. For example, picture the map Point to Hawk, right? Point to Hawk, for example, and picture it in the morning, like the sun coming up. Picture it in the afternoon, like we've seen where the sun's kind of overhead, maybe have it be a little bit cloudy. Then picture it at night where it's actually dark out, and you have lights, of course, giving you a little bit of light allowing you to see in certain areas. How interesting would that map be without actually changing anything whatsoever? All they would have to do is change up the lighting and the shadows, and suddenly the map feels completely different based off of what time of the day it is. Throw in some weather generators, whether that's going to be, you know, snow or rain or whatever it could be, fog. Like, I think it'd be so cool. That's the future of the Call of Duty franchise to me. Adding in day-night cycles into the multiplayer maps, making it so when you load into a map, you have a random chance of it having like a certain kind of weather and another random chance of what time of day it's actually going to be. That way they could artificially make it so the game feels like it has a ton more content, when in reality, all they're really doing is adding some rain effects or changing up the lighting. It would be such a really good idea, in my opinion. I really do feel as though Call of Duty maps need to have at least day-night cycles going forward, so And fingers crossed, I suppose, for COD 2018 with Treyarch's next game, maybe they'll be the first team to actually implement that. But for Call of Duty World War II, we're not going to be seeing anything of that sort, at least based off what we know so far. Next up, we have a topic from Barty. Should Call of Duty World War II be set in World War II or in the modern age? I feel like the best COD games are set in the modern age. So Barty, I would say it's all a matter of opinion. And I would also say that Call of Duty needs both, right? There needs to be a balance, as with most things. If Call of Duty were nothing but World War II, like it was early on, people are going to get bored of that. One of the reasons why Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2 were so successful was that was the first step that Call of Duty took into the modern scene. Right before that, everything was World War II. And between COD 4 and World at War, they had another World War II game. So fans were actually bored of World War II back in the day. So they were thirsting for something new and different. Thus, we got modern. Then, of course, they went crazy with it. And they had a bunch of modern and futuristic games year after year after year after year, to the point where now we're bored of that setting. We want to go back to World War II. I think Call of Duty needs to have a balance somewhere, right? A popular suggestion from the community back in the day was to make it so Infinity Ward does modern games, Sledgehammer does futuristic games, and Treyarch does like past games like World War II, Vietnam, so on and so forth, right? And obviously that's been thrown out the window with Sledgehammer going back to World War II, so who knows what Treyarch's going to be doing next and what Infinity Ward's going to be doing after that. I just think that they need to have a nice balance of different settings with their games going forward. They tend to go on these big streaks where, you know, the first 5 Call of Duty games were World War II. Three of the past 3 Call of Duty games were set in the futuristic setting, you know, obviously with the advanced movement and stuff like that. So instead of going on these big streaks, just have a nice variety, a nice mix of them. I like past games, I like modern games, I even like futuristic games as long as we're not advanced movement. So hopefully they strike a nice balance going forward with the Call of Duty franchise. The next topic is going to be coming in from Maliki, who says, I think we should have a forced game chat in Search and Destroy, Domination, Gun Game, and Free-for-All if they really want to go back to their roots. I'm so excited for the game. So Maliki, I agree to an extent, right? Because I miss the old days of game chat in Call of Duty where people would trash talk and talk to each other and become friends. Like to this day, some of my best online friends I met via game chat in Call of Duty, but people don't really do that anymore, right? I remember the day game chat in COD pretty much died. It's when they actually added the party chat to Xbox Live. Like just overnight, all the lobbies were silent. Search and Destroy used to be full of people talking all the time, with the exception of the group of 2 that would go in that would use the private chat that was available on Xbox Live. But aside from that, everybody always talked. And nowadays, I never see people talking. But then again, I'm also sort of the problem, right? Because I instantly mute everybody the moment I get into the lobby because I don't want to hear them. And I'm also somebody who does not own a headset for either console. And I know that sounds crazy. Like, how do you, what? You don't own a headset? I don't. I do not own a headset for the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4. Never have. Maybe never will. I don't know. Maybe I'll get one this year so I can actually talk to my subscribers when I do open lobbies and stuff like that. But in short, how I've gone without a headset all of these years is I record every game I play via the Elgato capture software, and that capture software, it has 0 latency whatsoever, right? So if something happens in game, immediately it happens on my capture software, and so I just listen through there. Like, I have no real need to buy a headset for either console unless I want to talk to people in game, and I don't need to talk to people in game because my friends I play with, we just talk to each other via Discord here on the PC. So just, I've never had a real need for a headset, so I'm one of those people that just doesn't talk in game chat whatsoever, so I'm part of the problem. If they do decide to force game chat for a lot of different game modes, I think it would actually be good in the long run for the Call of Duty franchise, but at the same time, a lot of people just don't want to talk in game chat. They want to sit in a party chat with their friends who maybe are playing a different game. Let's say your friend's playing Rocket League, but you're playing Call of Duty and you still want to talk to your friend. That's really kind of annoying that you can't play certain game modes just because you want to talk to a friend that maybe isn't on that particular game. So I can see both sides of the argument. I'm all for either one. Like, I'm a fence sitter right here, man. I am for and against. It does not matter to me. Whatever they decide to do, I'm perfectly fine. But I can see your point. I do have some nostalgia for the old days of Call of Duty where people would actually talk in game chat. Back when eavesdrop was a... Let's not kid ourselves. Eavesdrop was never a relevant perk. The next topic is going to be coming in from Twister Wilk, who says, hopes for zombies despite traditionally not being a zombies YouTuber. So Twister, of course, we had all of those different, and your name's Draconian, by the way, I know that. We've had all those leaks for zombies, and we've learned a lot about zombies from there, which zombies seems like it's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be somewhat similar to the Treyarch zombies, while at the same time having some extinction elements and some very unique elements that are exclusive to Call of Duty World War II. That's all fine and dandy. But I will say this. For zombies, all I really want is a proper progression system. And it appears we're going to have that, but that's all I really want out of a zombies game. Like, when I go back to play World of War Zombies, there's a lot of nostalgia there, or even like the original Black Ops or Black Ops 2. There's a lot of nostalgia there. It's actually pretty nice to go and play on those maps and just enjoy zombies for what it is. Zombies is a fun experience. But for me, as a progressionist, like, I love like going in there and getting kills for my combat record. I love completing challenges, unlocking new things. That's one of the reasons why Call of Duty is as popular as it is because of the fantastic progression system they have in multiplayer. They have just now started to recently make it so they have that progression system in zombies as well. And if they continue that, I do know for a fact there's going to be a zombies combat record via the headquarters in World War II. If they continue on doing stuff like this, that's going to make zombies for people like me a little bit more interesting, right? Being able to keep track of all my kills, have a little zombies combat record that shows like how many zombie kills I've gotten with all the different weapons. Have it so you can level up your weapons by using them within zombies and unlock camos for them and attachments for them like we saw back in Black Ops 3. Doing stuff like that makes it more interesting. Aside from that, just have a cool setting, have interesting mechanics within the maps themselves, and have a wide variety of fun and interesting maps, while at the same time perhaps bringing back a callback map or two. I'm a big fan of rehashing content. I know some people hate that about me, but if they were to bring back, say, a Black Ops 2 map as a zombies map here in Call of Duty World War II, that would be awesome to me personally. I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to happen. If anything, maybe they bring back an Exo Zombies map, which who really wants that? I don't know. But yeah, for me personally, all they really have to do to make zombies even more interesting is just make it so there's extra layers of progression and more reasons to go back. Because if there's no reason to go back and you just go there just to mindlessly kill zombies to see how high of a round you can get to, it does get boring after a while. So adding in progression makes it so it's more interesting. And the fact that we know progression is going to be there in Call of Duty World War II has me very excited for zombies. Will I become a zombies YouTuber? Probably not. But for those that don't know, I do a lot of zombie stuff over on Nero's Let's Plays, so maybe this year will become more of a zombies channel over there as compared to previous years. We're going to see how it plays out. The next topic is going to be coming in from Ice. Do you think weapons will be actively nerfed and buffed like Black Ops 3 was and have great support, or just a few weapons that stay good and all the others always be bad? So, Ice, Sledgehammer is pretty awful when it comes to weapon balance and making changes. Historically, we're talking about Advanced Warfare here, but that game was very bad in terms of weapon balance, right? Sledgehammer was so bad at making sure that the overpowered weapons were nerfed and the underpowered weapons were actually buffed. Like, how many times, forgive me if I forget the exact name of the weapon, how many times did they buff the EPM1? You guys remember that semi-automatic laser rifle thing? How many times did they buff that? Like, I'm not even exaggerating, over half a dozen times, but it was still one of the worst weapons in the entire game. They tried, quote-unquote, nerfing the Ball 27 and the ASM-1, but they would never actually nerf the actual problem, which would be like the damage per second or the fire rate or the damage range itself. But no, they would nerf like the magazine size or stuff like that. Like, they were so bad when it came to weapon balance during Advanced Warfare, so I am concerned that in Call of Duty World War II, they are going to be lacking in that category. But the fact that they were actually able to back down and say, you know what, some machine guns are too strong, we're going to nerf them across the board, going from the console beta to the PC beta, is a good sign in my opinion. And if they continue to work with the community, and they continue to work to make sure that weapon balance is as fair as humanly possible this year, it could be a fantastic year for the Call of Duty franchise. But if they fall back into their old habits and let a couple of weapons be wildly overpowered, then that could really hurt Call of Duty World War II going forward. We're going to have to see how it plays out, but I have faith in Sledgehammer this year. I think they are really going to be working with the community. They were deer in the headlights, you know, when Advanced Warfare came out. Now they have a couple of years experience under the belt. They have an idea of what's actually going on. So I'm hoping that weapon balance will be good here in Call of Duty World War II, but time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. The next topic is going to be coming in from Ryan. Do you think they will bring back any maps from Call of Duty World at War? Ryan, no doubt in my mind, they are going to bring back a couple of World at War maps via DLC, and I'm going to go out on one giant limb here, mark this video, come back to it, and praise me when it finally happens, but I'm going to call that they are going to remaster Castle from Call of Duty World at War as a DLC map for Call of Duty World War II. It's been so long since we've seen Castle. Treyarch was initially working on a remastered version of that map for Call of Duty Black Ops, but they decided to actually scrap it, so Castle is this fantastic map from World at War that for some reason has never been remade. Instead, they've decided to remake Outskirts. They've remade Courtyard, but never Castle. Castle is freaking ridiculously good. And it also ties into the idea that they actually may be adding in some things of Japanese influence into the multiplayer itself. So it just seems to work pretty perfectly. In my opinion, they are going to be adding in a couple of Call of Duty World at War maps via DLC. And my personal prediction is at the very least, we're going to see Castle. So I'd love to hear down there in the comments, what do you guys think? Do you think they're going to remaster any World at War maps? And if so, CeeLo. What map are you hoping to see remastered? For me personally, CeeLo is the best map of all time, but I don't see them actually remastering it for Call of Duty World War II, even though thematically it would actually make sense because it is in the Battle of CeeLo Heights, which is a kind of like outside of Berlin. It's there in Germany, so it would actually make sense within the context of the game. But again, I just don't see them remaking it because the map was a product of a different time. CeeLo is way too big, I think, to work in a modern-day Call of Duty game. The next topic is actually going to be coming in from Logan. Do you think we are going to get a 24v24 mode in Headquarters a few months into the World War II life cycle? I don't think so, Logan. I really don't. I mean, I've always wanted a big Battlefield-style game mode in the Call of Duty franchise, because whenever I play Battlefield, and this is not a slight against the Battlefield franchise or Battlefield fans, it's actually gotten better and better as the years go by, but whenever I play Battlefield, it's always a little bit clunkier than Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty is just so silky smooth all the time, and if you go back to, like, Bad Company 2 or Battlefield 3, it's very noticeable how clunky those games are. Battlefield 4, of course, is much better. Battlefield 1, of course, is very good in terms of smoothness, but it's never as smooth as Call of Duty is itself. I would love to see 24v24 with the fluidity of the Call of Duty franchise, but I don't think we're ever actually going to see that. Maybe we will someday, but I don't see it happening this year. Although, I mean, by the very nature we have 48 people all hanging out in the Headquarters, I suppose it's possible if they have an arena big enough that they may add a 24v24 game mode to that. But again, I think we're really stretching. I don't think it's actually going to happen, but it would be really cool just to see what that would actually be like. The next topic is going to be coming in from Dangles. Do you think supply drops could potentially ruin Call of Duty World War II if they push it on us too much? That's the big question this year, Dangles. It really is. I mean, we've already talked about the fact that we have so many weapons missing from Call of Duty World War II, which we will be discussing later on here in the video, and the very nature that we've had 4 straight games with actual weapons locked behind supply drops. It's like, why should we believe Activision, right? I personally don't believe them, and I said it before, I'll say it again, and I recommend to all of you guys, do not spend your credits whatsoever. If you pre-ordered and you're one of those people who's going to get some bonus COD points just for pre-ordering the game, don't spend those COD points. Save them. When you actually play the game and you're starting to acquire your armory credits and your supply keys, save all of them. Do not spend a single one of them, because inevitably they're going to add stuff to supply drops, right? If history is any indicator, they're going to do that. And so when it happens a couple of months into the game's life cycle, you'll be ready. You'll have all those things actually saved up. Will it actually ruin Call of Duty World War II if they add game-changing content to supply drops? For a lot of people, it will. A lot of people will quit if that happens. So we're going to have to see what Activision has in store for us, man. I could speculate till the end of time, but I hope they don't ruin the game by adding in stuff like that. But again, there are a lot of weapons that are missing from this game, which we will be discussing in a couple of topics down the line. The next topic is going to be coming in from Alex. Do you think Call of Duty World War II will be a return to form for the series, bringing back players who have left, including some of your old gaming buddies? Alex, I really do think it is. I think it's going to be bringing a lot of players back, because a lot of people quit the series once Advanced Warfare came out, and then Black Ops 3, and then Infinite Warfare. Like, all the advanced futuristic things really turned off a lot of old school fans. So those people who left are definitely going to be coming back this year to experience a World War II game, while also experiencing a new boots on the ground Call of Duty game. And if you look at the advertising that and the marketing campaign that Activision and Sledgehammer are implementing, pretty much everything is boots on the ground, taking the series back to its roots. Hey, did you hear they're taking Call of Duty back to World War II? Things like that, right? So I think a lot of people are actually going to be making a return. Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of my old gaming buddies are going to. So my cousin's not really talking about the game whatsoever. My best friend doesn't game whatsoever anymore, Cardinal, for those wondering. And yeah, I don't think a lot of those guys are going to come back, because they haven't reached out to me so far, right? Maybe once they actually get the game, they'll then want to reach out to me, but I've lost contact with so many people over the years, unfortunately, that I really wish I would reconnect with, but I have no way of actually getting in contact with these people. So we're going to have to see, man. I really do hope some of my old gaming buddies come back, and I'm hoping, for those out there listening, I'm hoping some of your old gaming buddies come back as well, because I know my situation is not an uncommon one. A lot of us have gamed with a lot of people over the years, and a lot of those people have moved on and stopped gaming, or moved on in life and did other things. I'm hoping some of those people come back for you guys as well, because this is going to be a big return to form for the Call of Duty franchise, and I'm hoping for a lot of us out there anyway, it's a return to form of the old friend group as well, which again, that's kind of how they're advertising things, like in the live action trailers, they're going around finding all their old gaming buddies and stuff like that. So I'm excited for this game. It's going to be freaking awesome. The next topic is coming in from Bravo. How many more weapons could Activision put in Call of Duty World War II? Adding DLC weapons would mean adding ones that weren't actually used in World War II, right? Not necessarily, Bravo. There are plenty of weapons that are iconic to the World War II theme that aren't in this game. For example, the Mosin Nagant, the Gewehr 43, the Browning M1919, the Arasaka. A revolver pistol of any kind is not in this game, which is really odd to me. The Sten gun. There are plenty of other obscure ones as well. There are hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds, maybe even thousands of weapons that were used in World War II, so I don't think they're going to run out of weapons they could potentially add via DLC. Again, I don't want them to add DLC weapons to the game. It would be horrible if they were to do that. But if they do it, I do not see them actually going outside the scope of World War II. Like, imagine if they decided, like, hey, here's the M16 in Call of Duty World War II. That'd be freaking weird. Like, I don't see them actually adding, like, Vietnam-era weapons to the game or anything like that. There are plenty of other World War II weapons they could actually add if they decide to add weapons to supply drops. But again, it's really odd to me that they claim the multiplayer is going to be multiple fronts, yet we have one Japanese weapon, the Type 100, not the Arasaka. Where's the Arasaka at? Not adding in the Mosin Nagant, but adding in the SVT-40 instead of the Mosin. Like, not adding the Gewehr 43 in a game that is going to be full of Nazis and Germans and stuff like that. Like, it just... weird weapons to exclude from the game, and that has me really concerned going forward about the possibility of DLC weapons in Call of Duty World War II. The final topic for this video, guys, which thank you so much for making this far here into the video. It's a very long one, but some people actually like these long sit-down discussion videos. The final topic's gonna be coming in from Tyler. Do you think there will be enough content in Call of Duty World War II, like in terms of weapon variety, attachments, camos, and replayability? Tyler, I do think there is going to be plenty of content in this game, but we're going to have to see if it's actually worthwhile content, right? We know there are going to be tons of weapons, tons of attachments, tons of camos. The Divisions feature is going to be very deep. The replayability will come down to whether or not the game is actually fun, right? Is there a dark matter equivalent to go for in this game? And if so, is it too grindy or is it actually worth it? And are people actually going to go for it? How is the ranked mode? Is it actually fun? Is prestiging actually rewarding? Are people actually going to want to prestige within this game? How is the zombies mode? Are the maps different enough from one another so that they actually can keep us interested? Is the V2 rocket really going to be a nuke style kill streak, and will a community form around it? We really have all these questions, and they will be answered once the game comes out, but until then, we're kind of just left to speculate. I will say that I feel as though on paper, this game has a ton of content. You have your normal Call of Duty multiplayer experience, but on top of that, you have headquarters, you have the new Divisions feature, you have the war game mode, you have campaign, you have zombies. There's a lot to do in this game on paper, but we're going to have to see how it actually performs in practice come November 3rd. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I had for you guys here today. Thank you so much for listening. Definitely a much longer video than normal, but I thought it would be fun to have a sit-down discussion with you guys here today as we further anticipate the actual release of Call of Duty World War II, which is right around the corner. But until then, guys, thank you so much for listening. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section below, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.